Hello, everyone, and welcome to this installment of Daily Canon Tactics Board. Stephen Bradley here, bringing you the tactical tweaks and quirks that came from Arsenal's 4-0 besmirchment, frankly, against Slavia Prague in the Europa League on Thursday night. A wonderful performance, but as you can see, I haven't started with that. I'm starting with this. Um, I talk about, issues on the pitch all the time, mention tactics, so I'm behooven to bring up the fact that just before the game, Alex Lacazette, Arsenal's captain for the night, made one of the greatest gestures in the club's history. This is magnificent, and I'm immensely proud of what he did. I'm immensely proud of being an Arsenal fan right now, because this is exactly how you want your club to react in situations like this. We've seen, Andres Cadela's defense against his 10-match racism ban. It's absurd. It's pathetic. If you haven't heard it, Glenn Kamara. He walks over to Glenn Kamara, the ex-Arsenal player who's now playing for Rangers, covers his mouth, and Glenn Kamara says that he called him an effing, insert racial slur here. Cadela disputes this. He says that he didn't do that, and that he walked over to Glenn Kamara, covered his mouth so that he could call him an effing guy. Like, it's pathetic. And he got banned for 10 games, and Slavia Prague's reaction to this isn't, oh my god, one of our players is racist, he's sacked, or oh my god, one of our players is racist, we need to, suspend him further, this is abhorrent, this is an outrage, we can't have players doing this. Their reaction was, well, we can't appeal it, so there's nothing we can do, is there? Like, it's just absurd. It's just, if you don't know of a man called John Amici, I would implore you to go look him up. He's a wonderful orator on this subject, as well as many others. He's a former basketball player for the Orlando Magic, a British player, but a wonderful speaker on this topic. And he always says that it's not good enough to be, quote unquote, not racist. You have to be anti-racist to get rid of this scourge that we have in society. And one club in this picture is trying to be not racist, and the other club is trying to be anti-racist. And I'm just immensely proud that my club is the latter. And Alexandre Lacazette, before the game, because after a 4-0 victory, it would have been very easy to try and, hop on the bandwagon, make sure, with everyone happy with the performance and overjoyed at the fact that they're through to a semi-final. It would have been very easy to then say, oh, by the way, we did it because they're racist. He's done it before the second leg even starts, with Arsenal needing a performance. He's done that knowing he has to back it up. He's done that knowing that if he doesn't score, or if he doesn't play well, this performance, this showing of defiance, this showing of complete and total, almost disappointment in his fellow professionals in front of him, wouldn't carry so much weight if it wasn't for the fact that he was good in the game as well. And he knows that. And it's a shame that, professional sports is viewed through that prism, but he knows that. Yet he did it anyway, because that's how strongly he felt. And yeah, I've very rarely been as proud of a person wearing the Arsenal's captain's armband as I was last night when Alexander Lacazette took a knee in front of Slavia Prague players. I applaud him, and I hope you do too. It was a fantastic showing from an Arsenal player. It wasn't the only one. This performance was very much like the game against Wolves, the game against Leeds, especially the first halves, even a little bit like the game against Villa, but in this case, they scored. They actually took advantage of their chances. They created similar amounts, but every time they went forward, they looked like they were going to score. They looked dangerous. They looked effective. They looked comfortable in their plan. And to illustrate the difference between confidence and forward running and energy. Let me just show you the difference between heat maps between this game and 2 weeks ago when Arsenal were playing Liverpool. Because you'll find that they're quite similar. Here's Arsenal, like I said, from a couple of weeks back. You've got Chambers, Gabriel, Holding, and Tierney. Partey, Ceballos, Pepe, Odegaard, Aubameyang, and Lacazette. Now, knowing what we know now, we know that Odegaard was carrying an ankle injury and was going to miss a couple of weeks because he's clearly not 100% fit. And Aubameyang had malaria, which is not optimal, let's be fair. So, seeing him, sweating his backside off, running up and down, we were thinking, wow, he's not really cut out for this. No, he was just trying his best because he was carrying an illness. So, yeah, any of us that made jokes about, oh, he's got the flu, yeah, my bad, hand up. The guy was trying. But in this game against Liverpool, attacking at least, they were awful because they just couldn't get anywhere in front of the goal at all. They were lackluster, they were without drive, and they couldn't get the ball to anywhere near their forwards at all, as illustrated here. Now, look, Liverpool are better than Slavia Prague. Of course they are, but there were very similar game plans being played in both games. And like I said, if I go to the Slavia Prague, again, this is Arsenal, they'll be on the right here. Like, the difference between this, let me see if I can get them right. This one, Arsenal. This one, Arsenal. They're not all that different, except in one very key place. Here. Right there at number 9. Alexandre Lacazette. Again, standing in front of the Slavia Prague defence. But this should show you how well Arsenal got forward, how Arsenal got the ball out of their defensive third into attacking areas, because there's more of a heat wave here. There's more of a possession here. They were able to get the ball into the penalty spot again and again just because they were so efficient getting the ball through Slavia Prague's press. And that's the difference. Because even if you go, detailed stats, look, 36%, 39%, yet 0.12 XG, 1.92 XG. They had similar amounts of the ball, but they were able to do a lot more with it and create a lot better chances with it through small little change. And we talked about this with the Sheffield United game, where I was saying, who was playing left back? And the answer was no one, because there was no one here, and Arsenal deployed a very similar system in this game, because why wouldn't they? The last game it worked. So what they do was, Chambers goes wide right, Holding goes to a centre-back, third centre-back, Mari goes here, and Xhaka plays here. And Ceballos will go almost left mid, Partey will go here as the lone DM, and in a bit of a change from what they played against Sheffield United, Pepe was on the right and Saka was here in the middle, with Martinelli playing on the left. And Martinelli was quote-unquote rested. They said he had a sore ankle, fair enough, but I think what the plan is for there to be a number 10 here and 2 runners. And look, Saka's great, but he's a better right winger than he is a number 10, and he's a damn fine good number 10. But having Smith Rowe in this team, it's such a perfect foil because of all the running he does. Like, I don't want to put pressure on the lad, and I don't want to put expectations of it here, but he's very Aaron Ramsey-esque. He just keeps running. He just keeps making these third man runs, as they're called, in past everyone, making room for other players, making himself available for the ball at all times. So as a result, when Pepe was here, Saka was here, and this is Martinelli. What was happening was that Pepe was kind of waiting here for the ball at times, while Martinelli was constantly running and Saka was constantly running, and Pepe was almost like a decoy at times. He was getting forward, but Saka was operating so well from this area that there was no need for Pepe really to do much. Against Slavia Prague, it was a slight change, but one that worked so much better because they moved Pepe to the left. And Pepe is a very left foot dominant player. And maybe it's just in his game that he's played so much on the right, and especially in France where he was coming so deep with the ball because he was able to beat multiple players off the dribble and drive through the middle of the team and score. He's used to doing this. But when he plays on the left, he's a lot more proactive. He does this a lot more. And when Slavia Prague tried to engage their press, and they did it a lot, and what they would do is they would play an exceptionally high line with their DM Hermada there. Provod would play. Provod, right, by the way, is a decent, very decent player, and so is Sevcik. What they would do, especially when Arsenal had a goal kick, they would push right up the field. Okay? And Arsenal would basically be stuck in a position like this from goal kicks. 3, 3, 4. Because Lacazette would drift over here and Smith Rowe would drift over here. They play with basically no centre forward. And the plan is very simple. Get the ball to Xhaka. Now, when Xhaka is here, he's an exceptional passer of the ball. World-class passer of the ball. He has every pass in him when he's able to open up his body and look. But when he's here, or even in the middle, because he's, again, like Pepe, left foot dominant, balls will come to him from the right from time to time, and he'll have to pass it with his right foot, and he's not the best. So he closes himself off. So he doesn't really, like I said, he'll be looking straight ahead, and he'll really only pass it this way because of his left foot. And it's a strange quirk because he's got every pass in the book, but he limits himself. And as a result, he's not really effective from here at times because he limits himself to the ball he can play. He can play the long ball here and the long ball here, but he needs to he takes too much time opening himself up on his body, getting the ball on his left foot so he can pass it right. It's little things, and it's things that take him like half a second or a second to do, but modern football, players are on you like that. So when he's here, he has fewer options. But that's a good thing, because now it's almost like giving a quarterback fewer things to worry about. It's like, okay, if that player's open, I'll pass it there. If not, I'll pass it there, and those are the only two things I can do. And now suddenly you're taking that thought process away from him. You're taking the responsibility of making a good pass away from him. You're saying, right, okay, if Stanchu and Olinka press you, you have 3 options. Only 3. If Ceballos is free, you give him the ball, because then Ceballos gives it to Lacazette, and suddenly Arsenal are 4-4 again. Right? If Ceballos isn't free because Olayinka has come over here and Stanchu has also come over here, well, now the ball to Partey is on. And now you're saying to Partey, if you can beat this man 1-on-1, you're 4-4 again. And then if Slavia Prague actually press properly and Olayinka can cut this pass off and Stanchu can cut this pass off, well, then the pass to Mari is on. And then Kukja has to come here, and then it's to Holding, and then Sevcik comes here, and then it's to Chambers, and then it's 5-4 again. So that's it. Like, that's all Arsenal have to do. And every time they tried it, it worked. Because Slavia Prague, for whatever reason, they were manic pressing against Rangers. They were manic pressing against Leicester. Against Arsenal, they were just one step off. But against a team that's as comfortable on the ball that this Arsenal team is, you only need to be one step off, because if Olayinka doesn't get there quick enough, it gets to Ceballos, and now Ceballos has one player to beat. And if Provod comes here and Hermada tries to help, then it goes to Partey, and then they're in. If Hermada comes close, then Ceballos is in. If Ceballos has 1-on-1 and Stanchu decides, look, I'm going to mark Partey, and Hermada comes in there, Ceballos, long ball, Saka. If Provod comes here, Olienka comes here, and they try and mark everyone, now you're asking Xhaka, right, okay, can you find this ball? Now, because Chambers is free. There's always one player open. And this is the key reason why Manchester City are doing so well in the league right now, and why Pep Guardiola's side has always done well, is because there's always a man open. Now, yes, this involves a hell of a lot of running, but that's the point. That's why this performance was so good. Because as soon as Arsenal got the ball 4-on-4, Slavia Prague were done. Because if Smith Rowe got it, he was going that way, he was giving it to Saka, and centre back has to follow him. Now you're asking Saka, can you beat the left back? Easy. Lacazette, if Zima comes close, Pepe, Saka. Okay, well now Holes has to go right. Holes has to go right. Okay, I'm now in. Well, Smith Rowe goes, well, I'm going to run in deep then. Like, these two here, Holes and Borrell, had an absolute nightmare against Saka and Smith Rowe, because Smith Rowe kept running. He kept making space. Hollis had to keep going backwards. Borrell had to keep going backwards to try and stop these two, which meant anytime Lacazette got the ball, Zima has to look at him and go, right, I need help. So Hermadas now starts coming back. Stanchu starts coming back. Provet starts coming back. And Arsenal basically kept threatening this again and again and again, to the point where Slavia Prague weren't able to push up at all on Arsenal, because Arsenal were too much of a threat on the counter-attack. Yes, Slavia Prague had 738 touches, Arsenal had 545. But look where they are. Like, if your centre-back is getting the ball there, fine, have it all day long. No worry. That's no worry. I'm perfectly okay with your centre back having. Yes, he had it here occasionally, but they were 4-0 down at that stage. Oles. Here, on the right hand side. Like, it's one of those situations where I knew it. There you go. Real time editing. I knew I had that wrong. Oles on the right hand side was very similar. It's one of those situations where, yes, Slavia Prague have a lot of the ball, but if Hollis has it here and Zima has it here, fine, have it. No problem at all, lads. You can sit there all you want. If the defensive midfielder wants to come here and stand you, Sevchik comes here, Provet comes here, they want that all day long. Xhaka just sits there. Yes, they've got two centre forwards, but holding, and anytime Olayinka and Kucha come deep for the ball, they stick to them like that. And suddenly, Arsenal are playing, in essence, with a back five. With Partey as a fantastic DM just sitting there going, oh yeah, I remember this, I played for Atletico Madrid. I'll stay here all day. And they had nothing. It was just one of those performances where Arsenal were so effective and so efficient with everything they did that they made a team that hadn't lost a game at home in a year and a half, and that kept Bayer Leverkusen scoreless and Leicester scoreless and Rangers scoreless. And yet Arsenal rock up and overwhelm them. Just repeatedly getting the ball to Xhaka, they come forward, it gets to Ceballos and they're in, and it's 5-on-4. If he can beat him off the dribble like he did twice or three times, it's 5-on-5. And now Slavia Prague are running back again. And Arsenal just kept doing this again and again and again. And any time Slavia Prague tried to make any inroads going forward, Arsenal would just wait, pick the ball off, and bang, straight down the right wing again. And it's going to be interesting to see how this evolves, because Pepe's played really well down the left and so has Martinelli. Aubameyang doesn't fit in this role because he doesn't make those runs as consistently as he needs to. He's more interested in getting into the box and being on the end of moves, which is fine, but when so much is happening down the right, you need this to be a constant threat as well. He can't just be waiting here. He needs to be good on the ball. Lacazette has shown throughout the year that he's a better hold-up man than Aubameyang. Aubameyang's all right at it, but Lacazette is just better at it. And yes, Martin Odegaard is the shiny new thing, and yes, he's an exceptional player, and yes, Real Madrid are probably right in saying we think he's worth a lot of money. But I don't see how you can drop Smith Rowe from here. I don't see how you can drop Saka from here. And if you're looking at this team and thinking you need to spend 60 or 70 million on an attacking midfielder, I don't know what you're looking at. The places that need to be upgraded here are maybe another centre back. I know we've got Gabriel and Saliba to come and etc. Maybe a right back. Maybe a player better than Ceballos here. But if you're to tell me for the next 3 years that the team is going to be Pepe, Smith Rowe, Saka, and even Martinelli up front, sign me up. That's going to be the next question. Where does Arteta take this? Because this performance and the Sheffield United performance is exactly what we have hoped that the process would turn into. That what Arteta would bring to Arsenal, this progressive, fast-moving style of football that's good to watch, with a bit of solidity at the back. I'm not expecting Arsenal to win every game, but I expect them to play more like this than I did the Liverpool game. If they play more like this and more against the Sheffield United game, a lot more fans will give Arteta time. They will have some patience, because if they play like this, they will go places. And if they can keep their young core together, they will go places. If you have enjoyed this episode of Daily Cannon's Tactic Board, please feel free to like it, comment below, and if you want these in your inbox on a regular basis, hit the subscribe button, and they'll get to you the day of or the day after the match. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time. Cheers.